Communications Minister Solly Malatsi has dismissed claims that the proposed relaxation of BEE legislation is aimed at paving the way for billionaire businessman Elon Musk's Starlink to operate in South Africa. He appeared before Parliament's Portfolio Committee on Communications today. He was grilled on the timing of the gazette. Newzroom Africa's senior politics reporter Ziyanda Ngcobo has more.
Communications Minister Solly Malatsi was at pains to explain that the issuing of a draft policy directive which allows for satellite companies like Starlink to operate in South Africa without giving over 30% ownership to previously disadvantaged groups has got nothing to do with the trip to Washington led by President Cyril Ramaphosa. Malatsi told the Portfolio Committee that last week's gazette was a culmination of a process which began in earnest late last year.
Different people are always going to have different views about the timing. And I would really like that in that conversation, we are mindful of the steps that predate the visit that took place to Washington. To be mindful that the work that culminated even engaging with ICASA as early as the 4th of October would not have been done that way if all of a sudden there is a realization that we have to gazette by Friday.
But most members of Parliament were not convinced.
Was any deal cut in America by the leadership? And I've got a clear-cut clarity from the African National Congress that there was no deal cut clearing the path for any Starlink regulations, as the public is calling.
I think you're trying to effect amendments using a ministerial policy directive to the Electronic Communications Act as well as to the ICT Sector Code, which is a product of the BBBE Act.
When are you reversing this unlawful gazette? Who pressured you to do this? You are under oath. Who pressured you? Who instructed you to do this? Because you seem like an intelligent man. Maybe in the words of Rupert, you seem like a changed man. Who is pressuring you to do this?
One DA MP pushed to remind the committee that the policy directive was still a draft and is going to be subject to comment.
What Minister is saying is that there is going to be 30 days from the day of the gazette for any interested party to make comments. And all of us in this room are choosing to ignore that little fact because we want to use this as this process for political expediency.
Malatsi closed off his responses to criticism from MPs by saying this.
I can't dissociate myself from the fact that the leader of my party was part of the delegation to the US. And I'm a proud member of my party. I'm not apologetic about that. And I belong to a party that is part of this administration. And this administration, through the president and the other members that were in that delegation, have consistently said there was no discussion whatsoever about Starlink. There wasn't. Some of you have shared this sentiment in there. So as to why you would want to implicate me into conversations I wasn't part of in order to shape a narrative of bullying, I don't know what that seeks to achieve.
When asked about what independent watchdog ICASA had to say about his draft policy directive, Malatsi conceded that the Chapter 9 institution advised him to rather amend the Electronic Communications Act, which stipulates the 30% equity requirement. But in that same response, the body also said that Malatsi is entitled to issue a gazette. The legal notice is now open for comment. For Newzroom Afrika on Channel 405, I'm Ziyanda Ngcobo in Cape Town.